Welcome to the Family First Retirement Podcast with George Politarhos. For more information, visit betrayawealth.com. Now, let's get to the show.
Saw a stat, and I want to get your take on this. 52% of adults refuse to call an advisor, not because of trust or not because they don't feel like they have enough money, but because they would rather do it on their own. DIY, George. Is that a dangerous way of thinking regarding retirement?
Absolutely. What the hell are you thinking about?
Right.
You know, Mark, I fell the other day. I don't know if I told you, and I broke my arm.
What?
Yeah, I broke my forearm. I have it under my shirt right now.
No
But
way.
I broke my forearm. So instead of going to the hospital and having the medical professional place it and sit it and put the cast on, I watched DIY YouTube. And I saw 2 sticks, and I taped it to my arm to hold my arm. Are you kidding me?
George, you had me.
What kind of people think about this, folks? And I always say I cannot change the oil in my truck.
Yep.
It's just not who I can't run electricity through my house.
Mm-hmm.
If I did, my house would be to the ground being burnt. My truck so why would you sit there and risk something as important as you and your spouse's retirement and future on DIY? That's what we do every day. We help you get the answers to the questions you need because you're not on top of everything going on for retirement. All these new tax laws coming out, all the investment opportunities, because you're worried about living your life, and you should be. That's what you do really well. Let the professionals that Betray Wealth handle the process, give you the roadmap for retirement. Let me give you the Family First Retirement Plan. So I want to make sure you understand where it's going, how it's working. If there's a mistake, let me show it to you. If you're doing good, God bless you. We're going to be happy and put you on your way. But you need to call us at 302-330-2166 to schedule your no-cost, no-obligation meeting. If you've saved over $200,000, folks, I don't know why you haven't picked the phone up. You're sitting there waiting until tomorrow? We don't know about tomorrow. Ask those folks down south of the hurricanes going on.
Yeah.
You need to take advantage of the opportunities you have today. Because guess what? If you did a great job, everything looks great, awesome. You're in a fantastic position. But if you made some mistakes, and Mark, who hasn't made mistakes?
Agreed. We all have.
We need the time to correct them and refocus our assets to move forward. So call us at 302-330-2166 or go to Petraya, P-A-T-R-I-A wealth.com, and let us help you get lined up for retirement correctly.
You mentioned something there a couple seconds ago. You talked about tax laws are constantly changing, and you're in the industry, so you're always reading, you're always getting great information. All right, so let's break that down here for a couple of minutes here on Family First Retirement. Obviously, the election, still top story right now. Everybody's coming out with their plans or their lack of plans. But when it comes to Kamala Harris and it comes to Donald Trump, they're both promoting different plans. Let's focus on taxes right now. So with what you read and the information literature that you have, what is the difference between the two candidates' plans? But more importantly, George, how is it going to affect us and affect our retirement savings?
First off, let's make sure we understand something because there is a lot of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
The president cannot change the tax laws. He can put a plan together and get it voted on. Okay? So the president doesn't have the ultimate authority to change that law for taxes, but he writes the plan and hopefully gets pushed through the House and Senate to get it funded and approved. With that being said, we have a tax change coming at the end of next year, 2025. And this is still known as the Trump-era tax plan we are currently in. Now, if they do nothing, if the government does absolutely nothing to help us and do any planning, at the end of next year, we will revert back to the Obama-era tax plan, which I don't care what anyone says. When you talk about it, you have people say, well, I pay more in taxes under Trump. That is an outright lie. Your taxes were much higher in the previous administration than they were under Trump and through this administration due to that plan. But what are some of the things they're talking about, Mark? Because that, at the end of the day, really comes down to the nit and gritty about how we can live and how we can plan for retirement, because we don't have a lot of control, folks, over some things. We don't know how the market's going to do. We can't control taxes. So let's focus and learn what we know and plan accordingly. So one of the biggest things they talk about is Donald Trump has talked about how he's going to tax business and competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And also, before I go any further, Mark, folks, I'm giving you the information available, but you need to get your heads and get on and go to the Trump presidential campaign and see it in black and white.
Okay.
You need to go and see the Kamala Harris, see it in black and white, because all the talking heads will tell you to think one way. They want you to tell you that. You need to educate yourself. Just like we do at Portrayal Wealth, we educate you. You need to take the step and not just take what your girlfriend or boyfriend or neighbor or cousin's telling you and find out the facts. So with that being said, for the business part of the taxes, Donald Trump wants to actually lower corporate taxes from 21% to 20%.
Okay.
And if you're a corporation producing domestically, so you're building within the United States, he has even said they'd like to reduce that to 15% for corporate taxes.
That's pretty good.
It's
significant.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Pros and cons of everything in this life. Kamala Harris wants to raise corporate tax to 28%. It's a lot. And wants to expand housing credits for people, first-time homeowners, low-income housing credits to help them. Now, while we're talking about these two different plans, how about we talk about what's going on right now with the Biden-Harris administration? Because she's vice president right now. She's part of this plan.
Well, she's pretty much president right now, but I see what you're saying.
True, right? We know that Joe isn't. They have talked about increasing their taxes to 20%. And to raise taxes on fossil fuel industries, what they've been striving to do. What funds your cars, makes your engines go, make your houses heat. They want to tax it, and that's why we have some of the situations going on in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking a question, Mark.
So I want to go back to what you were talking about a couple of seconds ago about the corporate tax structure. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I think it's important to realize I want to play the pros and cons, be the devil's advocate. Of course, Donald Trump says, hey, I want to lower the corporate tax rate. Kamala Harris says, we're going to raise the corporate tax rate. How is that a good campaign move?
When you raise tax on corporations, a couple things happen. They're still going to make their profit. Mm-hmm. So who pays that tax?
In the
Mark
end,
Owens does.
We do.
We do. We get passed down. When Donald Trump lowered the tax structure at 21% for corporations, the Treasury pulled in more money than ever before because it's trickle-down economics, I guess, in a way. Corporations are making more money. They're investing more into infrastructure to build their companies, hiring more people, more employees, more working, more taxes being paid. When you raise that tax structure, someone's going to pay the bill, and it's going to be the low and middle class, the guy working every day, the blue-collar American guy who goes up every day and is not sure about what's going on tomorrow.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people, unfortunately, Mark, that are living paycheck to paycheck. No question about it. This really strains them. You know, we go grocery shopping, Leslie and I see what we buy and what we spent, and I'm thinking, how Alex and Anna affording to do this stuff?
Yeah.
You know, I worry about that. They have a luxury. They're working hard. They're doing great, but they have mom and dad also if they need. Some people don't have mom and dads. But that's how that tax structure works. It's really funny. We all know that the government needs its money, right? Because we got to give money away to all these foreign countries.
Right.
Instead of taking care of us in North Carolina and Florida.
Totally get it.
So
makes sense. They
say we're not going to raise taxes. Only if you go over $400,000. What's the average $400,000 individual? A lot of people make $400,000. It's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. A lot of small businesses fall into that classification.
Yeah.
So they start getting taxed more, right? When you start taxing small corporations, small businesses, mom and pops, they stop hiring people.
Yeah.
They start cutting down or they go out of business. You got to think about that. It's kind of like, folks, I don't know, Mark, you're not from this area, but Philadelphia about 10 years ago started a soda tax inside the city limits of Philadelphia.
Okay.
So if you went to Wawa and you got a fountain soda in Philadelphia and it was a 32-ounce cup, you filled up with ice, you filled up with soda, you go pay for it. There's a tax per ounce on that cup on top of the cost. So it's 10 cents an ounce, 5 cents an ounce.
Okay.
So my 32-ounce cup, I put ice in there. I'm getting 20 ounces of soda, but they charge you the tax on 32 cents. Who does that tax affect?
Me.
You.
Yeah.
It also is a lower income as a rule.
Yeah.
So it's really that tax that affects everyone, not just the corporations.
I read about this. Didn't they try to sell this as we're worried about obesity in America. And if we start charging a tax for sugary drinks, maybe that'll lower the rate of how much sugary soft drinks that we as adults are consuming.
It's supposed to go that way. It's kind of like a sin tax almost, because cigarettes are bad for you.
Yeah.
So they have a higher tax on cigarettes. Gosh forbid you drink that good bottle of bourbon
Yes, sir.
or alcohol. That's a bad thing. So we tax that higher. Exactly what it's about. And it kind of drove people the other way, or took people out of the city and go shopping in the suburbs so you don't have to pay that stupid taxes.
Right.
But these taxes, we know the government has to make money.
Yeah.
They can do it one of two ways. You raise taxes on everybody, and that's everybody. Or B, you have more money come in, you don't have to raise taxes. And that's what a lot of this is about.
Okay.
You know, I hear so many commercials. I hate watching TV because there's so many commercials that it's mind-boggling. Vote for Kamala Harris. I hear blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Vote for Donald Trump. I hear blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's the noise, the white sound.
Yes.
And it scares the heck out of me because this really is a turning point in our country. I know where we are. I know where we don't want to go, I think. And we have to plan for it and understand the laws. They both have come up, Mark, and said about taxation. They don't want to tax people making tips.
Yeah.
Great. They want to, Donald Trump has come outside, do not want to tax overtime pay. Great.
Solid. Boy, I bet you those linemen in North Carolina would appreciate that right now.
They're working like animals. They're really doing an unbelievable job, these people. And they're going to get a quarter of what they're making because we're taking it in taxes. So why the heck should I do it? Besides the moral compass, it tells me I should.
Again, Americans taking care of each other.
Yeah. But when you call us at 302-330-2166, we're going to go over what they're talking about Social Security. Because Social Security is another big issue in this election. They have both said they do not want to tax Social Security benefits. Wow, that's mind-boggling. Because they shouldn't be taxing the Social Security benefits.
Can they get away with that? Are these campaign promises? Is there a possibility?
It's funny, isn't it? We all make these big promises during elections.
Yes. Yeah.
We have to, once again, the president can recommend these. They have to have the House and Senate push them through.
Right.
And I just wish, I wish the country, the people would remember when you elect John Smith to the Senate, United States Senate, or to the Congress, whatever, that they lose that letter after their name and they start remembering who the hell they work for. They work for all Americans, not just the ones on the right or the left, but all of them. Yeah. And they can't ever, it's in my opinion, they never get their heads out of their backsides.
302-330-2166. Really good conversation this weekend here with George Politarhos talking about the tax proposals, if you will, the campaign promises of what Kamala Harris, Donald Trump want to do if they get elected. But the reality is, and correct me if I'm wrong, George, regardless who wins, there's a real chance that our taxes are going up, regardless who wins. Because we are also, and this is the one thing that's driving me crazy about this campaign, through both debates, presidential debate, vice presidential debate, no one seems to want to talk about this $35 trillion in debt that we're in right now. Because all I hear is climate change. And that's the biggest threat to our kids and our grandkids. I'm sorry, and I may sound like old man Owens talking right here, but you know what's going to affect my daughter more? A 60-70% tax rate when she finally gets her first job out of college, because by then we're going to be $40 trillion in debt, and nobody seems to want to do anything about it. So talk to me about the importance of having that tax strategy now.
So your daughter's going to start working next year?
Not next year.
Done college next year, because we're going to be damn close to $40 trillion next year, a couple of years. It really is, because once again, there's not a lot of things we can control in the future. We know that. I can't control what the stock market's going to do. I can't control the weather. I can't control this. I cannot control taxes. But you need to plan accordingly.
Yeah.
And I think what makes us so unique at Betrayal Wealth is when we look at things, I want you to be happy. I want you to look at all the good things in life. The cup's always half full.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a nice, beautiful 70-degree day, sunny, bright, no snow, no cold. It's always perfect. My job is look at the other side of that spectrum, and it's always going to be bad. The cup's half empty. It's going to snow like a son of a gun starting in October and not stop until June. I want to look at worst case scenarios. So when we do your tax planning, I'm going to plan that taxes are going up 15%. We're going to be in a position today to help us be in a better place for tomorrow. And that's what this is all about. When you come into the office here at 501 Silverside Road in Wilmington, we're going to address taxes with you. When you sit down, you meet with Ernie Calais, who is our strategic business partner, and you meet with Angie about Medicare. You meet Achilles about managed funds, and Jared. We're putting a total holistic plan together because how many times we've talked about this, Mark? We're all different individuals.
Yeah.
Right? You wear a size
Here we go.
10 shoe, moving you up in the world, my little friend.
What?
And I wear a size 15. What's right for me is not necessarily right for you. And this retirement plan, this tax plan, the Social Security plan, the income plan is unique to your needs, wants, and desires. I can't tell you the number of customers we have, Mark, that they want to sit there and live a very Spartan lifestyle in retirement and give as much money as possible to their children and grandchildren.
Okay.
And that's great. God bless you. That's not George's plan.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other people say, with my last breath, I'm going to spend my last nickel. That's great too. It's not my plan.
Check to bounce all over my gravestone.
I'm in between there. I wanted to have a great life with Leslie, enjoy everything we've always wanted to do, make memories with Alex, Anna, Jared, and Mr. Archer, who just celebrated his first birthday, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And leave memories. And then when we pass away, if there's anything left, they get it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my plan. So when we sit down, I'm going to build your plan, Mark. It's not plan. You're 65 years old. Great. Slide you down. This is the plan for you. That doesn't happen. When you sit down, we're going to have those conversations. We're going to talk about what you want to do, what your wants and desires are. We're going to educate you on the new tax laws coming out, how we can prepare for taxes. When's the right time to take Social Security? How are we going to pull money in retirement? From which fund are we going to pull to give us what we need? And that's what the Family First Retirement Plan gives you. And that's what I want you to take from us and let me help you with. So call me at 302-330-2166 and let's schedule that no cost, no obligation meeting. If you've saved over $200,000 in your 401k, your 403b, your TSP, IRA, managed funds, CD, savings, whatever we have earmarked for retirement, you need to pick up the phone and call us. Because if you don't take advantage of the opportunities, you are doomed to have mistakes. Don't be a DIYer and have that mistake. Say, let's just redo a mulligan in golf, which I hit every play, it seems. But let's plan effectively, produce results, and get you lined up for the best place tomorrow. But you need to pick the phone up and stop sitting on your hands. 302-330-2166.
Insurance and annuities offered through George A. Politarhos, Delaware Insurance License Number 1373121. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties.